Workshop extractors. What are the basic things that you need to know before you go purchase a unit? I've owned various extractors over the years, everything from the little bucket extractors with like the tiny motor on top. And the next one we had was a Camvac, which had dual motors. When we went to our next workshop, we had a bigger unit, a bigger one of these, because we had 3 phases in the workshop. That was a 3 kilowatt motor, I believe it was. Then when we moved into this unit, we started off with just a general cartridge filter, like cartridge filter at the top, bag on the bottom. That worked out quite well. We had a couple of those, one for over that side, one for over this side. The one over this side was running on a ducted system and worked quite well until we introduced this drum sander, which needed a huge amount of suck and pull on it. So that's why we upgraded to this unit here. Now this is a basics video, so we won't go too in depth to everything, but there's certain things, certain numbers you're going to be looking at when you go look at a extraction unit that you need to be aware of. First one will be the horsepower or the kilowatts. So I know in the States you use horsepower, over here we use kilowatts. You can look at calculators online and they'll tell you, I think a 1.5 kilowatt is like a 2 horsepower, maybe. I'll pop it down below if I'm wrong. That's the first number they're going to throw at you. The next number will probably be the extraction rate, so it might be 2,500 meter cubed per minute or per hour or something like that. And then they're going to talk to you about the filtration level. So there's going to be like 1 micron, half a micron, HEPA, felt bags, cartridge filters, like the list is endless. They'll throw any sort of marketing stuff at you. All of my extractors run cartridge filters. That's what this unit is here. It's a pleated paper cartridge that has an internal power system that when you move that around, it knocks all the dust out of the filter and drops it into the bag. My Charnwood over there that runs my table saw is exactly the same, but the cartridge is shorter. One thing to bear in mind with the cartridges is the bigger the cartridge, the more airflow that's going to go through it, so the better the filtration is going to be and the better the suck is going to be down this end. The Charnwood filter is about this big here, so bearing in mind that the motor is smaller and that the cartridge is smaller, it's going to have a harder time creating the same amount of suck. But when you read about like, oh, it does this many meter cubed or whatever it is, you have to be careful with that measurement. It would be nice if we could trust manufacturers. We can't always trust manufacturers. They might have a tendency to sit there and say, right, the amount of air that it pulls is right at the motor with no bag or filter or anything on the top. Whereas a more established company like Felder will give you an actual reading because they're supposed to be used in commercial workspaces. Now you might see ones with the big felt bag on top. That's going to work fine for a chip extractor, so something like a planer thicknesser. I wouldn't recommend using one for something that's going to be pulling sanding dust or dangerous dust out. Stuff that you don't want to breathe in basically, because they can range from 30 microns to 50 microns, and the stuff that's really going to damage your health is going to be like a half a micron to 1 micron. The filter on the Charnwood I believe is 1 micron, and this one I believe is a little bit better than that. The other thing that they're going to mention is the ducting size. The Charnwood has a 125mm inlet, and then it has a plastic cowl that fits on the front of that, and it comes off to 2 4-inch or 100mm ducts. So you should effectively be able to extract from 2 machines at once. What I tend to do is I have one that goes to the bottom of my table saw, one that comes down onto the ground on my table saw, so that I can extract from both of those sections at the same time on my table saw. This Felder AF16 has a 150mm or 6-inch give or take inlet, which means that I can run a 6-inch or 150mm duct all the way around to all of my machines and then drop down and it goes into the bottom of their extractor just there. A bigger duct means that more air is going to flow, so if there's more airflow it should collect finer dust, and yeah, it's quite a complicated thing. If you look at commercial setups like an LEV system, they can run to about 10, 15, 20 grand. I think initially we had a quote in here and it was like 12,000 plus VAT. Huge amount of money, hence why I went and spoke to Felder, picked up this unit and created my own ducting system, and we don't have any issues. I don't have an air quality monitor in here. Now I'm not pretending that it's a perfect system because it isn't. I mean, I created it, right? But it's a lot better than allowing all that dust to go into the air. And plus our workspace is quite open. We always have the big door open, we have the windows open, so I'm not too concerned. And we do have a workshop air filter as well up above. Now when it comes to extractors, there is a bit of a muchness right between all of them. If they've got a cartridge filter on, the extraction quality is going to be a lot better. You know, if you go for quite a high horsepower or kilowatt motor on there, that's going to pull a lot more air through. For me personally, making sure that it has a cartridge filter on the top and that you run the biggest duct down to the machine that you possibly can do. It's no good having a huge extractor like this and then run it on a 38mm pipe, because inevitably you're throttling down all the way down to that 38mm pipe. That's pointless. You want to run as big a duct as you can. So on this machine, we run 6-inch all the way up to this section here, where we then drop it down to 4, straight to where the Y is, and it extracts here and here. Same thing for my Charnwood over there on my table saw. I run it from those 4-inch ports with a 4-inch duct all the way around to the base of the table saw and into the crown guard. There is a huge amount of marketing that goes into the sale of tools as a general rule. But in terms of extractors, they just love to throw loads of numbers out at you. So you have to be very careful about what you're buying. Look at reviews, speak to people, go on forums. I mean, forums can be a bit miserable sometimes, but definitely speak to people who have a particular machine. Ask them, say what are the pros, what are the cons, and then go from there before you go purchase anything. I hope that's cleared up any questions you may have. If you do have any more questions, please drop them below in the comments. I'll be here to answer them. You have a great day, and if you're still here, you're awesome, and thank you for watching, all right? I'll catch you on the next one.